Hello there, Server 17 once again. This is more Forest Covenant Invasions. I believe this is session 9. And we're once again coming up against gankers, coming up against housewives, coming up against, some of the scum of the earth, some interesting people. And this is my buddy, a fellow forest bro that I'm stood behind, because he will defend me. And he does a lot of damage for an NPC, so they have they have every right to be afraid of him. But you'll notice they've pulled out the Dragon Slayer bow, and the NPC guy's not intelligent enough to know exactly what that means. But it's, it is what it is. See what I do? Do I put the Hornet Ring on? I do indeed. So as you can see, no mercy for gankers. We'll soon see if it pays off. But I got a comment today on my Devil May Cry video, basically quoting that because somebody has a positive opinion about that game, that they're clearly wrong, and they clearly haven't seen this video, which is essentially 50 minutes of 3 different guys ripping it a new asshole. And I just find it really funny that that people have this kind of opinion, because you can't have a subjective argument with anybody on the internet. You just really can't, because like I say, it becomes I meant to say objective, sorry. An objective argument, because a lot of the things that people are complaining about are completely subjective, and everything I've watched people completely slam the new game for are things that are extremely high level play, that the majority of people who review the games and the majority of people who play the games have absolutely no concept of those mechanics, because they're on such a high level that they don't ever get to that point where it matters. And the funny thing about these little niche communities of people that play these games to such an extent is they think that they're the only people in the universe, when they're not. And I don't understand the elitism that comes from it, where by them, completely deconstructing how this should work and how that should work and how this worked before to a finer level than it does now, somehow means that the game is bad. And especially, a statement that I've made is, Devil May Cry by Ninja Theory will receive a significantly higher review score than Devil May Cry 4, even though in the eyes of these people, Devil May Cry 4 was perfect. Why do I say this? Well, the reason is the combat on Devil May Cry at a high level of play was terrific. It was simplified in certain areas, but for the most it was the formula that all the very hardcore people enjoyed and played, and it was great. Everything else was dog shit. It was dog shit on the nth degree. And the reason it got poor reviews, I say poor reviews, it got a bunch of 7s, it got 8s in some places it got a little bit lower. It was criticised for recycling areas, it was criticised for various other things. And the reason why it got those lower reviews than Devil May Cry 3 is because all of the things that were great about the game were the things that reviewers didn't care about, because they don't play it on the same kind of level as these people do. This is nothing against the reviewers, this is just a fact. A casual gamer who picks up a Devil May Cry game does not care about the milliseconds of frame input on attacks between cancelling into a jump. They don't care about that because they don't know what it fucking means. And the new game has everything that Devil May Cry 4 did wrong, corrected, but the combat is lesser so, because it's not done by the same Capcom team, it doesn't have the same level of fidelity, responsiveness and creativity, but at the same time, once again, if you're not aware of the problems with it, which a lot of people aren't, to you it feels like a fun and creative game. And you know what happens, folks? They are the type of people that review these games. So this game is going to get marked purely on the merits of what is good and not on the things that lack compared to the previous games. And instead of it being called, technically inferior and the nuance is, is nowhere near as subtle and as well utilised as it was previously, it's going to be looked at as a vast improvement over a dinosaur franchise. It really is, and don't get me wrong, the rest of the game might be a pile of shit, and it might get 5s and 2s and 1s, I don't know, but as it stands, I believe, just based off of the work that Ninja Theory's put in, that it is going to beat the previous game. Should it? Who knows? I've not played that game. Devil May Cry 4 was a fantastic game to me, but I can look at it objectively and say, it was not a fantastic game. These people can't. And saying, you know, watching this video is going to cure ignorance is just preposterous. Because what people need to realise is, just because you don't like something does not mean that that is the universal consensus. I've realised this a million years ago. The reason why I say this is because I love shitting on stuff. If I think something's bad, I'm going to call it bad. And you know why? Because I think it's bad. Does that mean that you like it and I'm wrong? Not really. That just means that you enjoyed it, and that is great. And that is the joy of an opinion. But telling it to people on YouTube, I don't understand it. Is it like trying to put the fucking circle in the square hole? I didn't realise it was this difficult. And yet, we get these, you know, self-righteous people that want to come and correct everybody. And it's just... And the strange thing is, I correct a lot of things on my channel towards my way of thinking, because it's exactly that. It's my channel. I'm open for, you know, an objective and intelligent discussion, but a lot of the times it just comes down to opinion, and people want to argue for the sake of being assholes. And it just seems so much wasted effort. Just think what you could be doing, instead of, you know, waiting for the response so you can get catty or bitchy. It just seems really strange, and I just got KO'd by the dude with the Zweihander. But a lot of people might be thinking, why am I talking about Devil May Cry in this? It's just literally between this and the last video I commentated. I checked YouTube and this guy had left that comment, and I wanted to say so much more to him, but I know all it does on YouTube is it opens you up for hours discussions with people that are just so fucking stubborn that you'd have to shoot them in the face to get your point across, and I just don't have the time to do it. And I'm just going to start quoting like stuff that I find funny with these kind of people in the future, because it's getting to the point where all it seems to be is these kind of comments. Because there's always one person that rises above everybody else. Because it's difficult to respond to somebody who's saying you've done something great. Because, you know, you can't just be sitting there like, yes, I did. Did you notice that I did this as well? Yes, I'm quite amazing. You can't be that person, because nobody likes that person. And that's not who I am. I'm actually quite... I find it difficult to take compliments, and I don't know why. It's just the way I'm built. It's like Christmas presents. Do you ever get that really awkward feeling when you receive a gift and you say thank you for it, but you feel like you're being insincere? I was talking to this to my girlfriend the other day, and I feel the exact same. I always feel like I'm coming across as if I'm not grateful, and I hate it, because it's almost like a psychological issue, but it's just... I don't know, it's like a world of insincerity that we're... Oh, that looked good, that. Maybe it was a little bit keen, but I thought it was good. This guy's mixing up his combos at least, and he's wearing 2 pieces of Havel, so that means that he obviously understands the concept of armour and poise. Using a washing pole though, so I should have the speed advantage. Hit him with a quick combustion. This guy's got a lot of life. But interesting fight so far, interesting trades. Ooh, we went for the trade there. I definitely won that. I took Chaos Blade damage, he took the brunt of my weapon. Ooh. And that's one thing, you know, if you get down to a very subtle level of the katanas, if somebody has a washing pole and you have anything else, you have the advantage. They have the range, you have the speed, and speed wins every time. Unless, you know, you space them correctly. That was a pretty good fight. Not only did I kill the Phantom, but I killed the host. Pretty fun. Good stuff. But I've got to go back to Devil May Cry, because it's a hot topic right now. What I don't understand, like a good example for me is Resident Evil 6. Nobody wanted Resident Evil 6 to be the best game in the world, Jesus, stunlock, more than I did. I didn't really watch too much about it, I didn't really pay too much attention, I didn't read any of the previews, I just got lightning speared, but I killed the Phantom and it still counts. I didn't do any of that, because I was waiting for the game to come out and play it, and the demo came out, and I enjoyed it. I found the demo pretty fun. Don't get me wrong, I didn't exactly play extensively, I didn't play it on professional because I don't believe you could. But from the little snippet of the game that I played it solo and I enjoyed it. And I was really excited about that game. I noticed a few things that were a little bit off, some of the movement, some of the detection, but I just chalked it up to maybe, you know, the different mechanics that are working. Maybe there'll be something to compensate. The game came out, and it was a decent game. If you looked at it as, you know, just a standard game, it worked, it was functional. There were moments that were fun. But for everything else, in regards to it being a Resident Evil, I thought it was horrible. I thought it was dreadful. And I thought the things that were wrong with it way outweighed the things that were right. And I banged on that game quite a lot on the guide that I did, and I did a shortened guide because I disliked it so much, and I shit all over it. And there were people that defended it, there were people that liked it, and every single time I said this: you liked it, I didn't. That is great, because you have a Resident Evil game to enjoy now for the next few years until the next one comes out. I don't. And that is a sad thing on my part, or so I believe. And I'm always like that with games. I always want them to be the best game ever made, because at the end of the day, it's your money that you're investing, and the only people that suffer from a bad... What a fucking dick! What a dick! I stopped to let this guy fight that NPC, and then he comes and backstabs me. What a bitch. God, I hate the forest. But I always want games to be good, because I'm the person wasting time playing them if they're not. Nobody wants to waste time. Why am I still... Ugh. Swear to God, if that guy was in this room right now, I would fucking punch him. What a dick. But the thing that I really don't understand is these people, these mollusks, these fucking, you know, crustaceans under these giant rocks that are all gearing for a game to fail. I don't get that. And I can't understand having that much negativity in me. And don't get me wrong, folks, I can be a very negative person because I'm extremely cynical. I get, you know, misanthropy at moments. I can be a detestable human being, but luckily enough, I don't share it with people. I just fester, and sometimes it comes out of me when somebody makes a dumb remark on my YouTube, so I tell them to die. And I understand that negativity because it's a bad thing, and the one great thing about me is I have a beautiful girlfriend who kind of made me a better person. She cheered me up a lot, because I used to be much worse. And I was angry at everything, and I still kind of am, but it's that anger and that drive that motivates me to do things. And I know that it's bad fear, because I feel much better now than I did then. And I don't understand how these people live when all they want is for things to fail. They are literally like a cult of entropy. It makes no sense. From day one, when the very first screenshots of Devil May Cry came up, people wanted it to crash and burn. They wanted a Hindenburg, and I don't get it. And I'm out of time now, and I'm not going to talk too long over the black screen, so I'm going to continue this in the next video. So thanks for watching, guys. I do apologise if you have no interest in this game, but once again, my channel, my video. You take care now.